Don't you lose sight of what you want.
Greetings fellow captains and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships with the Hive Hound, and something a little bit special for the Brits today. Wargaming haven't forgotten us and have actually given us our second premium British ship, the battleship HMS Nelson. So we're going to have a quick look at her hit points, which is just shy of 60,000. She has between 9 and 406 millimeters of armour. It's 9 406 or 16-inch guns with a 30-second reload time, 46% fire chance, which is ridiculous on the HE shells, and a maximum AP shell damage of 12,000. A rudder shift time of just shy of 15 seconds and a 750 meter turning circle means although she's quite slow, she's fairly nimble. So big guns. This ship is armed with high caliber main battery guns. It has a great heal. Repair party restores severe damage, but the AP shells may overpen armor, but may still arm depending on shell velocity. A little bit confusing with the word in there, but essentially the shells are so big you can overpen quite often, quite frequently. So we're having a look here. We're going to decide on our build first. So turret traverse time wasn't great, so we're going to check 45 seconds for 180 degrees. It's not terrible, but it's not great, so we're going to opt for the main battery mod 2 to increase our traverse time. Well, it does increase our reload time, but gives us a bit of a better sort of gives us a better, wow, I can't find my words, gives us better aiming. So we do the target acquisition and the rudder shift to improve, basically to help us swing those guns around a bit more. So we took 5 seconds off the gun turn time, and also took 4 seconds off the rudder shift time, making us that bit more nimble, because you are going to be a target, particularly for destroyers, so having that quick rudder shift time will help you get out of some sticky situations. So I was in two minds very much at this point about what commander to go with and how to build this ship, because it's not conventional, as you can probably noticed. All three turrets are right at the front. It's actually a really small ship in comparison. It's because of the limitations placed on the Washington Naval Treaty of 1922, which restricted the weight on, basically restricted how many forces you could have. I don't know if you just heard that, some idiot leaving the horn outside my house. Thanks for that, buddy. So we're gonna have a look and let's see, is there any better commanders? Who's better? Cunningham, Charles Martel. So in all fairness, there's not a lot of difference between Cunningham and Charles Martel as for what they can actually provide you with. I thought Jujard is probably a bad idea, considering it says we're going to suffer from over penetrations. So we're going to have a look. Do we want extra hit points? Probably not. We're going to have a look now at the through the American commanders, and flood duration, reducing flood duration probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But turns out that's actually not something we need to worry about at all. HP restored by repair party, that could be a good shout. Obviously main battery traverse speed and reload time is always handy. So that's what we're going to go with originally. We're going to change this up a little bit and just trying to help you understand how I got to the build that I got to in the end. So I had a couple of games, and I'll be honest with you, they did not go well. I genuinely, my initial thoughts were, what a pile of hot garbage. Like, this sucks, this is really bad. And then but I noticed a few things about the ship, so I thought, right, okay, we're gonna change things up. We're gonna give ourselves more heal for longer for one, and that was going to be our very first protocol, and we're going to look for an inspiration that is going to further increase our heal, because we'll discuss it in a second, but it turns out that the HMS Nelson has something particularly special about that great heal. It's not great. It is absolutely ridiculous, but we'll get to that in a second. So we're flicking through, seeing if there's anyone that can help us out and improve our heal a bit more based off what captains have got and what level they are. Obviously, that makes a big difference. So just flicking through, debating. More HE shell damage. The HE shells are really good, but a bit low, 2%. Probably not worth it at this time. Maybe if Lewis was a bit higher level, that could be something we could get him on board with. But yeah, not for the moment, I don't think. So here we go. Who do we go with? I think we go with Takagi. His total HP restored an extra 2.5%. Can't really complain about that. And oh look, we've got enough promotion orders to get ourselves to legendary rank 2 with Charles Madden. I think I said Martel, didn't I? That's the French ship. Yep, Charles Madden. So we're going with we're looking, do we want to reduce our range? No, we're going with fire. Crisscross, increase the traverse speed, even better. Switch cell types, that's going to become quite important in this ship. And obviously master mechanic for the repair party, reload time and the amount of HP recovered. So we're going to have a quick look at this. Yes, that's right, 1,330 hit points recovered every second for 20 seconds, compared to the 429 on the Colorado, the 384 on the Iowa. Alright, I've buffed it a little bit, don't get me wrong. The Amagi's 330. Just having a look at some tier 6 and tier 7 battleships. Bismarck, 366. Alright, their duration's a little bit longer, but you've got an extra 1,000 hit points per second being recovered. So, this was my first decent game. I say decent, the first good game I had. This isn't, don't expect crazy damage, but this, everything just fell into place. I figured out what I was doing with the ship, how to use it, and every component of how to use this ship came into play. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So whilst we're waiting for the action to start, which will take a minute or two here, I just do my usual little history buff stuff. So as we mentioned, the ship was restricted by the Washington Naval Treaty, which is why it looks so peculiar and so small, and it has the weird gun arrangement of 3 turrets at the front, all in front of the conning tower, and it gives it a very unique look. I love the fact that you can read the Nelson on the back quarter of the ship there, and I do like its camo scheme. It's a good looking ship. So the Nelson come with the all or nothing armor scheme, originally developed by Americans. Well, actually I say that, post-Dreadnought it was originally done by the Americans. HMS Warrior was actually the first ship to use this style of design, where basically all the boiler rooms, all the guns were enclosed within an iron case in HMS Warrior's example, and the rest of the ship was basically as little as possible, make it light because we still need speed. And obviously as guns and everything and armour developed, this became a point where the citadel, which is the hard bit, essentially became the entire ship. And then things escalated, larger guns, large caliber guns, advancements in shells, and that sort of changed the world, and people started to focus on compacting the citadel and reducing the weight as much as possible. So essentially the Nelson could sail without its front or rear quarter. They could be blown off and the ship could carry on sailing, it could carry on fighting for that fact. So yeah, some other interesting things. The Nelson itself didn't really do much. It was made post World War II, World War One, obviously, and in World War II, besides trying to hunt down the Scharnhorst, which it didn't successfully do, it never actually found it herself. It never really done much, but its sister ship, which is HMS Rodney. Some of you buffs out there might know a little bit about HMS Rodney. HMS Rodney was the ship that 9 minutes into the engagement with the Bismarck, with a salvo, not only took out both the rear turrets completely out of action, but also destroyed the fire control system for the Scharnhorst, leaving her to her fate of essentially becoming a ridiculously hard to sink floating target for the Royal Navy. And the Rodney actually holds a world record, something that has never been done by any other battleship, and that is a direct battleship to battleship torpedo, which it struck against the Bismarck, funnily enough, in that one fateful engagement. So as you can see, early on at distance, I'm opting for high explosive. The high explosive has got really good damage for a start, and its chances of fire are ridiculously high at 46%. So we're trying to spread out the love here, trying to get as many fires going as we can as we engage both the Gneisenauers. Now you learn pretty quickly that you do not want to go broadside in the Nelson. If you show your broadside to anything with 14-inch guns or bigger, your citadel's gone. You are going to get blown out of the water. But you'll also get set on fire a lot and get hit by torpedoes, and that is absolutely fine. Do not panic, do not worry at all about torpedo damage and fire damage. In all fairness, we mess up here and we use our first repair party too soon, but look, did you see how quickly we recovered from that torpedo damage? It's gone. A single torpedo hit that we took done just over 5,000 damage due to the damage reduction of 19%. So we got away with that pretty much unscathed. But things are going to change on the being damaged front as this York, obviously this York is slowing down. I think they've realised that there's a Nelson right here. They want to shoot at us, but they don't want to get shot at. So I was not expecting to see torpedoes again this quickly, and we eat one, and this is where the flooding starts. So we've got 45 seconds. Have a quick look. It's a Fubuki, so we dodged two, so that was a third. So I don't know, a minute maybe we can spend. No, more again. I'm not entirely sure how he's firing so many torpedoes so quickly. Maybe the first set of torps came from the York. I'm not too sure. I don't think the York has that great of a range on its torpedoes. Or maybe that torpedo we just took was from the York. We'll just have to wait and see. And well, yeah, as you can see right there, almost half of our hit points were gone. It's 29, 32, 35, 37, 40, 43, 45, 48,000. So we've managed to recover all of that. We've lost 10,000 hit points, even though we've been hit by torpedoes and flooded twice. So the heal is absolutely disgusting. We're starting to turn. We're not going to let ourselves get hit by any more torpedoes. Well, we're going to try not to anyway. We successfully dodge that first salvo. That Fubuki is going to be the bane of our lives for pretty much the entirety of the game. Now, I know the Guneyes now is just around the corner. I'm worried because there's a Normandy down there. Turns out that Normandy is actually AFK, and me turning away was exactly the right thing to do. The Guneyes now was sitting there, and she was ready to fire torps at us. So we've got HE loaded, so we're going to set that off. Incapacitations took out their torpedoes, which is nice. Bloody more torpedoes again. We are not going to dodge these, not in the slightest. There we go. We're going to take 3, dropping us down to 1300, and we're flooding. We've switched to armor piercing because the armor piercing is not great at range, but when you get close up, it works really well. As you can see, we took a nice little chunk out of that Guneyes now. So we got citadeled, we got hit by more torpedoes, and we've just recovered it all. We're back up to 30,000 hit points. So we've only actually lost 30,000 hit points so far this match, as we look at taking aim on the Normandy. And at this point I am curious. I'm like, what's he doing? What's going on here? Why am I not being set on fire as we do some damage? Ooh, excuse me, and take out his guns, or one of his guns. So we see B's being taken. We've got a lead, but it's not a big lead. It's not enough of a lead. And more torpedoes. Fortunately, those weren't aimed at us, and one of our teammates takes a firm torpedo to the side. It's at this point I realise, right, I've fired off my second salvo now. This guy, and that torpedo set was clearly aimed at us. So it's this point I realised, right, clearly that Normandy is AFK. Now, there's only 4 minutes left of the battle. I'm not going to win by killing an AFK Normandy, although my teammates decide that farming a bit of free damage is more important than winning the game. So I turn in towards B. Obviously we've got an A battleship over there and a destroyer over there. I ping the map to try and get the attention of my teammates behind me, but they are, well, entirely uninterested. They're going to go down there, they're going to kill that Normandy, and they're going to fight with that Fubuki, which I suppose I complain that they're going down there to farm the free damage, but they do keep the Fubuki busy. And with the Fubuki off my case, that gives me a bit more freedom. I don't have to sit there, I don't have to worry about trying to dodge even more torpedoes, because, well, let's be honest, I think we've eaten quite enough of them for one day. So we get a salvo off at the Arizona, and it's going to be interesting in a minute when we get up close to the Arizona. The Algeria here is obviously focused on our cruiser, not paying attention, doesn't see me, overpens. That's just what happens in this ship. But when it hits, it hits hard. Even the overpens do a sizable amount of damage, and goodbye. There we go, a citadel hit, and he's out of there. So essentially, at range, high explosive. I wouldn't really bother switching armor piercing unless a target is under 10 kilometers, because we have shell drop off. So basically what that means is the further away the target is, the less power it's got by the time it gets there. and when it gets there, it just dies off. It doesn't actually, it hasn't got the power behind it to penetrate them, and you just end up getting shatters and bounces, and that's no fun for anyone. If I say pros and cons about the ship, obviously the heel is a definite pro. The guns, I wouldn't say the guns were actually particularly a positive. The HE is brilliant. The armor piercing at distance is rubbish. So, only worth using in close engagements. See, bow on with an Arizona, and we still manage to pen 2 and get 7,000 damage. This, when you get up close, this is where these guns, the armor piercing on these guns, work really well. But when you're up close, we've got really weak armor, so we are risking it. You are exposing yourself to getting deleted very, very quickly. But this does highlight that when you're angled nicely, doesn't matter how good or how bad your armor is, you're gonna 10,000 damage straight through the front, straight through the superstructure. And this is key. See how quickly all 3 of my guns can change direction. That really is critical with this ship. That is what it's a balancing feature. Yes, you've got poor armor. Yes, your guns are fiddly to work with. If you expose your broadside, you're gonna die really quickly. But having that ridiculous heel and having the ability to switch your guns from left to right that fast compared to other battleships. If you come round an island and a battleship is not expecting you, even if you're not expecting it, you're still going to have that advantage. And we can eat I thought we were going to eat another torpedo there. It just fell short. So 242,000 damage. I'm pretty sure we should have got I think we get a dreadnought because, well, we've sustained so much damage and well healed it all. So we'll see at the end. Place now 12 seconds. We're just coming to the last couple of seconds. We're going to get a cap as well. We capped A, or assisted capping A. Capped B, and got a 124,000 damage, and that takes us to the end results there. So made almost 500,000 and just over 3,000 base XP. So one thing I would say about this ship, it's really not for the faint-hearted. If you're new to the game and you want a British premium ship, buy the Warspite. That's forgiving. The Nelson is not. The Nelson will punish you at every available opportunity. And whilst I'm doing this little bit of rambling here at the end, I just want to see if anyone appreciates artwork from one of our subscribers, Olympic Titanic, a true Warships fan. He's really knowledgeable, loves his history, and he's kindly drawn some artwork. So we might try and convince him, or maybe digitally put some colour in, and maybe start using these for our thumbnails. What do you guys think? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.